Rock City Networks and tonedeaf.com.au coming to you from the Arts Centre in Melbourne for Face the Music 2011. And joining me is a man I'm sure you all know, and if you don't, you're about to find out who he is. Mr. Paul Mack is joining me. How are you this morning, mate?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
It's as I was saying to Becky Ayres before, it's the wrong end of the day for all of us to be getting up early and talking, isn't it?
I know. It's just very unmusician-like.
But you know, it'll be cool. And in a short time, you're about to step into a keynote speaking session. You're going to be interviewed by, I believe it's Carl Brody, for the APRA Songwriter Speaks With, and it's basically all about your influences and your songwriting and advice and all that sort of stuff. I guess you're just going to open up as much as you'd like to, depending on the questions, and let everybody know how it works. So, what is your what's your take on what you're about to walk into?
I mean, I've done a couple of these before, and it's something that I enjoy doing because you've got a room full of people that love music and are just sponges that want to learn and soak in as much information as possible. And there's no right way or wrong way of writing music. There's everyone has a different approach, and I find it fascinating. I find fascinating listening to other people and how they approach music. So I suppose my job here today is to explain my approach, and whatever people take from that, they take from that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this will be a good practice actually, because I'd like to get into it just a little bit. Where did you start? Like, you're well known for electronic stuff, but you're also a producer and so forth. What sort of sparked that fire inside you to get into music?
I kind of had no choice. I was forced to learn the piano from the age of 5 and absolutely hated it. Yeah. And I had nuns that used to bash me over the knuckles. They would be arrested today, but bash me over the knuckles if I made a mistake, and I fully hated it. But at the same time, apart from learning all the classical stuff, I played all my pop songs by ear, and that I found really good fun. And then when I was about 14, I realised that I was actually pretty good at this and got a new teacher, and then suddenly I really enjoyed it. And I realised I had two choices. One was to be a musician, the other one was to be a train driver. And I decided to be a musician, and I went to the conservatorium and I did all of that stuff. And it was around the time when computers were just sort of starting to happen, which was a wonderful thing because it meant that I could be, the composer, the conductor, the performer. I could realise these ideas on my own, and I found it a really exciting new medium. And techno was like just in its infancy and a whole new vast unexplored future. And that's what excited me about it, and it's all I wanted to do. Yeah,
going into music and sort of everyone finds their own feet, finds their own way, and that sort of thing. Are there lessons that you've learned you never expected to learn from people you probably never expected to learn them from?
I mean, I think continuously. I mean, to me, the idea of a good piece of music is when I can't work out how they're doing it. So particularly, I always get excited by the invention of that first track that starts a new genre. Generally, as Brian Eno says, there's genius followed by senius. Yeah. And so, for example, the first drum and bass record, I was like, oh my God, how amazing. The first dubstep record was like, which is of course then followed by 6 million tracks that sound exactly the same, which is where the senius comes in. But I suppose I love, most of the time, just being a trained musician, I've been doing it forever. I can hear a track and go, okay, well, there's that sort of sound doing that bass line, and there's that sort of sound doing that thing in the middle, and there's that sort of thing doing the melody. But when I hear a track and it's like, what are they doing? How are they doing that? That's what inspires me, is because I'm learning something new, and I strive to work out what they're doing and incorporate that into what I'm doing. Yeah.
Now, with apart from the creative side of your career, of course, where did you decide that I need to wrap my head around the business itself? Is there a point there?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the good thing, and this is often a question that beginners will come up and ask me, is like, well, how do I make a living out of this? and you know, it's tough times. It's the arse has fallen out of the market. Nobody's paying for anything. It's a very hard time to make a living out of it. But I suppose I was fortunate enough, and I worked my ass off, and I went to the conservatorium so that I could do a million things. So like, if I was just making records with one band or as a solo artist, I wouldn't be here talking to you. But I can be a musical director on a TV show. I can do a film score. I can produce records for people. I can arrange a string quartet. I can do lots of different things. And I've always had, you know, 3 or 4 bands on the go or 3 or 4 projects on the go. And if you've got enough fingers in enough pies, and each pie pays you 1 cent, then you can kind of make a living out of it. Yeah. So it's just, I think that the trick is like diversity and staying power. You know, like I was on the dole for, God, how many years? I only got off the dole when I was about 30. Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of years of, you know, eating 2-minute noodles and just plugging away in the studio, you know, trying to come up with something that was good. Yeah. And it's like, because, you know, so many people I meet, they've written their first track, they've got their program, like, cool, now how do I dominate the world? It's like, well, write another 30 tracks, and then, you know, then come and talk to me.
Eat another 10-pack of noodles.
Totally.
Yeah. Drink the cheap beer.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. So where are you headed for 2012, Paul? I guess are you winding up now because it's getting to the end of the year, or where do you sit right now?
Oh no, I've got a bunch of really good things on the boil. I've been working on my next solo album, which has been going for about 5 years now. Yeah. But that's coming to a head. It's I've got my songs. I'm just finalising vocalists, and I'm really, really excited about that. It's a new sound. It's a new direction. And that's really cool. I'm about to do a film score, and there's been talk of another one for next year. I do lots of co-writing with people. My publisher will send, hey, we've just signed this artist, do you want to write a song with them for their record? So I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes for other people's records, which I really enjoy doing because, quite frankly, the less of me that I see out there, the happier I am. I'd love to just be that bald, fat guy that stays in the studio and the young, pretty one goes out the front and does the photos. Yeah, you know, like I just want to make music. I don't want to be famous. I just simply want to make music. So the more ways I can find excuses to stay at home and remain in the studio, that to me is the meaning of life.
Fantastic. Well, Paul, on that note, good luck for the keynote speaking session. I'm sure everyone's going to take a lot from it because, you know, you're well known here and overseas as well, and everyone respects what you do. You always have a good time when I see you play live, man, and it's just thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And
nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I tell you what, we'll you've just thrown me right off there, Paul. I was going to say we'll get you off camera because if you want to stay behind the scenes, then we've taken enough of your time already. But like I said, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of Face the Music. And if you want any more information, you can go to paulmac.com.au. Is it .com? Yeah. Fantastic. Go check out what Paul's doing, and looking forward to that new solo release.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. It's Paul Mac here at Face the Music 2011 for Rock City Networks and tonedeaf.com.au.
Cheers.